Hey friend, I am Abigail. Before we begin, take a second to follow or subscribe to this channel. Every day we share a new part of a story that's touching hearts around the world. A story about unity, hope, and what happens when six strangers learn that together we can.
Friends, I am Norman. You don't want to miss a single chapter. Now, let's begin.
Welcome everyone to Together We Can, the podcast dedicated to the impossible story of how six strangers from six different worlds built a society where differences didn't just disappear, they became the very cornerstone of their success.
It's a story that starts not with sun-drenched beaches or sweeping utopias, but in the grime and heat of a forgotten place called Tanez. Imagine a dusty town, choked with the noise of industry and the monotony of a shared grinding job. The air was thick with iron and frustration.
And in that town, working at the same wearying factory, were our six main characters. They had nothing in common, yet were bound by the very thing that often keeps people apart: their heritage. They represented the corners of the world: Black, White, Asian, Arab, Latino, and Indian.
Let's meet them quickly, Abby girl. We have Kwame, the strong, resilient black man from Africa, a natural leader with a practical understanding of survival. He was the anchor.
Then there's James, the white European, an inventor, a classic thinker, slightly impatient, but driven by a need to solve every problem with a system. He was the mind.
Our Asian representative was May, strategic, quiet, but a master of detail and long-term planning. You wouldn't see him move, but he knew exactly where the machine would break next. He was the planner.
Arjun, from South Asia, calm, spiritual, disciplined. He brought an almost meditative focus to his work, often frustrating the faster-paced men. He was the soul.
From the Middle East, we had Omar, resourceful, generous, a brilliant keeper of stories and a shrewd observer of human nature. He was the connector.
And finally, Diego, the Latino from Latin America. Passionate, joyful, a creative force who saw beauty and music in the rhythmic clang of the factory. He was the heart.
The catalyst for this entire epic happens on a sweltering Tuesday. The main industrial press, the heart of the Tanez operation, seized up. It was catastrophic. Hours passed, and then Kwame and James collided.
Kwame, with his raw, pragmatic approach, wanted to simply apply force, leverage a massive rod, and will the machine back into motion. A brute force solution.
James was horrified. He insisted on following the manual, meticulously diagnosing the European-designed failure point. It was a classic clash of intuition versus instruction. They were yelling, unable to understand a word of the other's approach.
But then, one by one, the others stepped in.
Perfect tiny diagram of the gear housing in the dust, pointing to a small, hidden structural weakness the other two were missing. He saw the future of the damage.
Omar rushed off, returning not with a tool, but with a special imported oil he'd kept hidden, which reduced the friction James couldn't account for in his textbook physics.
Arjun stood apart, calmly instructing James to slow his frantic breathing, allowing him to see the problem rather than react to it.
And Diego, bless his heart, started a rhythmic chant, coordinating the movements of the men, turning the tense repair effort into a synchronized.
Within minutes, the machine clanked, shuddered, and roared back to life. But the real machine, the one they had unconsciously fixed, was the problem of unity.
For the first time, they realized the incredible truth. Their six separate skill sets, when combined, wasn't just better. It was unstoppable. They recognized Tanez, the town that brought them together, was also holding them back.
And that's when Omar, the resourceful Arab, leaned forward. He unrolled a tattered, water-stained map. It showed a small, uninhabited island, just a faint smudge on the edge of the known world.
It was a leap of faith. They didn't need civilization, they could build it. And Diego gave the dream a name. We go. We call it Together We Can.
And just like that, the six strangers made a pact. They would leave the world behind and build a new one.
Join us next time for episode 2, the departure, as the founders face the fear of the open sea and take their first steps onto the unfamiliar sand of their new home.
Find out next time on Together We Can. If you believe in Unit, hit subscribe.